Picture this. You finish a whole novel, 45,000 words, by hand with a pencil. Now email that same novel and save it in the cloud for a year. Which burns more carbon? Surprise! The digital version emits 130 times more CO2. Just keeping your words alive online racks up a hidden energy bill you never see. Most of us think digital equals green, but every file saved, email sent, or meme archived in your drive, it all requires servers, 24/7, 365 days a year. Let's break it down. The humble wooden pencil, its whole life, from tree to trash, causes just 15 grams of CO2. That's the same carbon hit as boiling water for a single cup of tea. Not exactly a crisis. And that single pencil? It'll write out about 45,000 words before running out. That's like handwriting the whole script of the first 3 Harry Potter movies. Or jotting down 90 whole paperback chapters. No charger needed. So, what's the carbon cost per word? For pencil and paper, it's almost invisible. Just 0.00033 grams for every word you scribble. That's less than the CO2 in a single exhale from a hamster. Seriously. Now, flip to digital. Email that same 45,000-word document, then store it in the cloud for a year. You're up to 2 kilograms of CO2 from one file. That's about as much CO2 as charging your phone every day for more than 5 months straight. On a per-word basis, storing your novel online for a year produces 0.044 grams of CO2 per word, enough to fill a party balloon for every 1,000 words. Multiply that by every word, every version, every backup, and it adds up fast. Here's the wild part. Writing your novel by hand creates less CO2 than brewing a single pot of coffee. The digital upload? That's 5 miles of car emissions, just to store it for a year. But here's where paper wins big. Write on acid-free paper, and your pencil mark lasts over 500 years. No energy needed. It just sits there, readable. That's 5 times longer than the entire stretch of history since Shakespeare wrote Hamlet. Zero maintenance. Digital files are way more fragile. The average hard drive or SSD, it's toast after 5–10 years. If you want your story to survive, you have to migrate again and again. To keep a digital file readable for 500 years, you'd need to migrate it to new hardware about 50 different times. That's 50 upgrades, 50 rounds of electricity and labor. Data centers, the backbone of all this, are absolute power monsters. In 2025, every data center combined burned through 460 terawatt-hours of electricity. That's enough juice to power every home in California, Texas, and New York combined for an entire year. Now brace yourself. By 2030, the world's data centers will likely gobble up 1,000 terawatt-hours of electricity per year. That's more energy than all of Japan uses in a year. Imagine toasting 1 trillion slices of bread every single day just to keep your files alive. Meanwhile, the global pencil industry churns out 14 billion pencils every year, 2 for nearly every human on Earth. Keep all those pencils tip to tip, and you could circle the globe more than 40 times. And yet, their total carbon footprint? Less than a single mega data center. So, no, this isn't an anti-computer rant. We need digital, but we rarely question its invisible energy debt, a tab that grows every time we hit save, upload, or share. If you wanted your words to survive centuries, would you trust graphite on paper or a $1 million server farm? What actually lasts? And what's the real cost of forever? If you had to preserve one sentence for the next 500 years, would you write it down or upload it? Drop your answer in the comments and say why you'd pick that method.